Right, so club rugby in South Africa is clearly alive and well. And for more on False Bay Rugby Club's incredible season, I'm joined in our studios in Sea Point by Gold Cup winning captain Graham Knoop and coach Johno van der Walt. Gentlemen, welcome to Sport on Prime. Johno, I'm going to start with you first. What's the secret to False Bay Rugby Club's incredible form over the past couple of years and to have that beautiful trophy now in your possession?
Oh, secret, I think, to be honest, it's just a lot of hard work, a lot of guys coming together for one goal, and it's just great when the hard work really pays off.
And this isn't amateur level club rugby anymore, what a lot of people think maybe club rugby was. You guys are really, you're tapping on the door of professionalism, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I think some would say that. I think we're a working man's club, so a lot of us have a 9-to-5 job or an 8-to-5, and we train on a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, public holidays, in the mornings, Sundays. So I would say yes, maybe semi-professional, but we're still fully amateur. Eh?
Well, I'm going to bring Graham in now. Graham, this was your second crack at the Gold Cup. Obviously, you learned some lessons on how to go all the way to capture the gold.
Yeah, I think being part of the Gold Cup last year was a surprise to all of us. I think we're just grateful that we actually just qualified for it. And then playing in the Gold Cup again this year, I think we learnt our lessons. Difficult to play away, difficult to play against teams that you're not familiar with. You haven't played at their home ground. And so we now knew going into the competition this year that if we could secure some home playoffs, it would give us a better chance at hopefully winning a final. And I think luckily it worked out for us.
And we saw your home fans, and you had 5,000 through the gates at the Philip Herbstein Fields there in leafy Constantia. You guys are local heroes now. You don't have to buy a drink anywhere in the neighborhood.
I'd love to think so, but no, we are still buying our drinks these days. There's no such thing as a free lunch. But absolutely, I think from a player's perspective, it's just great that the community can get together and celebrate something like that. We must remember as well, we've had a lot of loyal supporters for many years at the club who supported the club through thick and thin, in the third division and the second division. They've always stuck by us. So for us to go out and win it and give them some nice credibility around our community is just a great thing to do.
And I mean, the fact that the club is based in Constantia is almost a smokescreen, because Constantia, very well-to-do neighborhood, but False Bay Rugby Club, your ethos is very different. Explain to us, Johno alluded to it, how does False Bay run their club?
Well, again, yeah, it's a working man's club, and I think with any amateur sport, it comes down to workability. So you can't just be saying certain things, you've got to make sure that you follow through and actually do them. And I think that stems from our committee. Our committee is very good at that. They make sure that they're getting things done. And then in terms of the ethos at the club, you've got to realize we all come from different backgrounds at the club. We're very much a very multicultural club. And the truth is we all just really get along. We're all there for the same reasons. And it's a happy place, it really is. And I think down through all the teams, not just the first team, but all the teams in the club, and everyone supports one another as well, which I think is quite a rare thing to find. A term has been thrown around at the club that's called stop bringing the gees, and people like to think that there's too much gees at our club at the moment, which I think just bodes for a happy environment and a happy place for anyone that just wants to play rugby.
Well, SA Rugby certainly reinvigorated club rugby in the country. Johno, from your perspective, what is it like to coach a team all the way through? Because it's quite a rigorous tournament. You've got to go all the length and breadth of South Africa, don't you?
Yeah, look, I think firstly, just to qualify for the tournament in the Western Cape League, in the Super League, is a feat on its own. It's basically, we play rugby for 10, 11 months of the year. We have a vigorous a schedule of 14 games, and then we qualify, and then we have to play 7 tough games. You play two home games, 2 away games. We've been up to Sishen, we've been to Durban in some humid and some wet conditions against a very tough Rovers side, and then again, like Graham alluded to earlier on, we kind of learned our lessons from last year, and we knew that we needed to be at home for a quarterfinal, and then hopefully, obviously, if we could knock on from there, we can get a home semi, and lucky enough that again we got a home final. So for us, yes, like 10, 11 months of really, really hard work, culminating into something very special.
And as a coach of the championship club team in the country, do you feel like the respect has come back to club rugby? It's no longer the ugly stepchild of the rugby fraternity where anything goes on a Saturday afternoon. There's more to it.
Yeah, look, I think you only have to ask a few professionals, guys maybe playing one level up. You can ask them to take a trip down to club rugby, and you can see how tough it is for themselves. We have many professional guys that are in their 25, 26, and they come and play some club rugby, and often they find it a lot tougher than maybe one level up. So, yeah, hopefully we have earned the respect, but club rugby is very much alive and well.
Now, Graham, the one interesting thing about this Gold Cup is that it doesn't include the universities. Does that give the clubs like False Bay a little bit of breathing rooms that they don't have to compete against the might of Stellenbosch?
Well, I think in our league, our domestic league, we play against university teams, so we are familiar with playing against them. Your UCTs, your Stellenbosch, UWC. With perspective on that, I think we must also realize that, I remember being a student and a rugby player, and you can just train all day. You've got a lot of time to do your training. It gets a bit more difficult when you need to put a roof over your head and have pin down a job and start paying taxes, and so your 9 to 5 gets in the way of that. And we just work a bit harder to make sure that we either got to rise early or go to bed later, and just to make sure that we can put in the same amount of work and effort. And at the end of the day, it does come down to really a work ethic.
I mentioned Stellenbosch, the biggest rugby club in the world, because when I was down at False Bay a couple of years ago shooting some stuff, you guys had just beaten them around about 2011, and it was a huge deal for the club. How close are you to closing the gap for good against Stellenbosch Rugby? I know you're second to them on the log. You finished second to them on the log in the domestic league.
Yeah, biggest rugby club in the world. It's always going to be difficult to take them on. I think a little David and Goliath story there. But I think over the last 3 years, over the 3 encounters we have had, we've managed to win 2 of them. We narrowly lost in the last minute this year. So I think the gap has closed. But there again, that's just been a couple of seasons. I think the real victory will be if that can remain sustainable over a considerable time. Stellenbosch Rugby Club is a massive fraternity in themselves. They deserve a massive amount of respect, and I think every time we go out there, we know we're coming up against a serious rugby team, and we always got to make sure that we put our best foot forward when we play against them.
And final question, I'm going to start with you, Johno. What's next for False Bay? What does the future hold for the club?
Well, one, we're going to have a little bit of downtime, so some of the older guys can maybe relax and get their feet up and concentrate on work, because in most businesses it's a very busy time of the year. And next year we'll start up in Jan again, and we'll start to have a look to see what squad we have. I know we would have lost some of the older guys have retired a little bit. There's some new guys coming around. Lots of interest from clubs throughout the country. So we'll assemble in January. We'll see what type of squad we have, and we'll just work hard again, and we'll take it from there.
Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you for your time and for bringing this beautiful trophy into studio, and all the best for the future.